Good morning. Welcome to Ramblings with Joe. Last night I went to bed a little bit early. Had a hard day. Had a good day. Worked hard. There's some soul fulfillment when you work very hard like that. It takes it out of you, but when you're done and you look back on the day, you realize you accomplished something. Even if it was just bringing people some products that they need. You accomplish something. You're an integral part of society, and you are trying to make the world a better place. That's the kind of day I had yesterday, and it was difficult. There were times where I was in a spot I couldn't easily maneuver in, and it was challenging to say the least. One of the places I go to, they are very, very picky about their lawn care. So I have to make sure that I don't run over any grass. I did it, but it took a little bit of extra time. It's like I said, it was challenging. But when I was done and I was leaving work for the day, I looked back upon my day and I thought, what could I have done better? There were a few things I could have done better. You know, when you stop working on yourself, things tend to go to, they just go really bad. When you stop working on yourself, things tend to go to shit. Let me put it like that. I will make this an adult episode. It's difficult to look back and say, I did that wrong. I can do better next time. But that's where I landed yesterday. There were a couple things I looked back on and I said, I did that wrong and I could have done it better next time. Usually these are things that have to do with your relationships at work or your relationships period in life. This applies to more than just work. The idea that I can look back and I can say, I can do better than that. And a couple places that I can improve upon, I'll be returning to, I'm sure. I'm going to return to this cup of coffee. So I looked back on the day and I decided, yeah, I had a good day. It was fulfilling. I don't have a very complicated job. I hook to a trailer. I take the product in the trailer to the customers. I drop the product off at the customers. Usually I take a picture and then I get a signature most of the time. Sometimes it's unattended delivery. And then I move on to the next customer. The complexities are always involved around when you get close to the customer. That's where the big deal is. So at my stage in life, where I'm at work, driving a big truck is fairly mundane. I take it very serious. I am very attentive. You won't see me texting and driving. You won't see me distracted driving. I take it very serious. There are people's lives at stake, not the least of which is the woman I come home to every day. She depends upon me and I upon her, and I need to make sure that I come home safely every day. Beyond that, there's my life. There's the life of the people that I'm passing on the roads. So I take it very serious, but it is, for the most part, mundane. The wife once described the job that I do as hours and hours of boredom interrupted by moments of sheer terror. That's pretty much trucking. That is, and that stuck with me. That's what it is. And what you're doing when you're driving, whether it's a big truck or car or a motorcycle or I don't know, what else do we have out there? Oh, scooter, unicycle. No matter what you're driving, that's what it is. You get to the point where you start taking things for granted. You get to the point where you start taking things for granted, and then something happens. If you haven't crossed a certain line of attentiveness, you usually can handle those things. I've been in accidents, and luckily they've been very minimalist. I haven't hurt anybody, including myself. I have been in accidents that were my fault and that were not my fault. But usually when they were my fault, I had crossed that line of attentiveness, and I was no longer attentive, at least not enough to prevent the accident. And the accidents were preventable. It's a strange thing driving. There's a comedian out there that tells a joke about he does a bit about driving and how late at night you start to fall asleep when you're driving, and if you've driven at night, you know the feeling. You know it's time to pull over, but you're trying to get to your destination, so you push yourself. And the comedian talks about you're falling asleep and you snap to and you almost died. 5 minutes later, you're falling asleep again. You almost just died. And yet you're falling asleep again. And the point, he thinks that I don't do his bit justice. He does it. It's hilarious. My point is, driving is so mundane that can happen. You get to feeling safe. And when you feel safe on the road, you're a danger to everybody else, including yourself. It is difficult to look back and say, I did that wrong. But when you can do that, you can learn. And when you can learn, you can move on. Learning came up last night when I got home and we were talking for a little bit. It is so important that we continue to learn in life. And when you're driving a car, it is a matter of life and death. When you stop learning, when things become so mundane that you have become inattentive, well, like I said, you're a danger to everybody, including yourself. It is not something that we should ignore. This goes for more than just work. When you stop learning, things tend to fall apart. When you stop learning, things tend to go wrong. I cut my thumb once. There's a story there I'll tell one day, but I cut my thumb once because I was cutting an onion with a very sharp knife. It hurt like the dickens. So I guess the knife wasn't nearly as sharp as I thought it was, but I thought it went to the bone. And I was looking back on it while they were trying to stitch up my thumb. And I thought to myself, how did this happen? I have cut onions 1,000,000 times. Okay, maybe not 1,000,000 times. A lot. And how did I put my thumb underneath the onion and get it cut? I became complacent. I became very inattentive. It's something I had done over and over again, so my attention was drawn away from the task at hand. And we have to pay attention to the task at hand. Whether it's truck driving, cutting an onion, mowing the lawn. How many times has someone that you know or you run over a garden hose with lawnmower? We were inattentive. It's one of the kids was cutting the grass for me, and at our other place we had a electric lawnmower with a cord, and she said, I'm going to cut the grass. I said, okay, just be careful not to run over the cord. Of course, she ran over the cord. It was her first time using a corded lawnmower, and this was something she wasn't used to. So she became inattentive, and she ran over the lawnmower. She was okay. The lawnmower's okay. There's safety checks, both in the house and the lawnmower, that keep people from getting electrocuted. But it's inattentiveness. And that's not just cutting the lawn or an onion or driving a big truck or driving a car, motorcycle, etc. It's inattentiveness. And in life, we must be attentive or else we lose our way. And it's important. It's something that we all have to do. So my podcast, the last, we'll discount yesterday's worst podcast ever, and we'll go to the two previous to that, was about the Church of I Don't Know. And part of the reason that I started calling it the Church of I Don't Know was my ability to continue to learn about other people's faiths, to learn about other people's religions, and to try and find my way, to pay attention to that in life. So that's what I do. I try and pay attention. And these distractions in life, when you're going down the road and a text message comes in, that's a distraction. Don't let that affect you. Leave it be. There's a time to get it. When you're sitting on the couch and you're talking with the love of your life and you've got your phone in your hand. I am very guilty of this. Put it down when she's talking to you. Listen. Be attentive. Don't wreck that relationship. It is a matter of priority, and we all must find our priorities. And this morning, my priority is definitely turning toward this cup of coffee. It is time for me to go to work. It's Wednesday, wonderful Wednesday, and I'm going out and I'm doing my job today, and I hope that I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to go out there and give it my best shot. I hope that you go out there and have a good day. I hope that you go out there and you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time, Lahith Traut.